Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about solving multi-step equations with the distributive property. So this means you have to distribute some kind of constant or some term outside of your parentheses to everything on the inside, and then it is the same steps that we have discussed before with two-step equations. You add or subtract the constant, so you isolate your variable, and then multiply or divide both sides and state your solution. So let's dive right into the first example here. So this first one says 2 times 3x plus 6 equals 21. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to multiply it to everything on the inside of my parentheses. So this is really a positive 2 here, and that is key because looking at problem number 2, we do have a negative on the inside of those parentheses, so that is going to affect our final answer. So it's important to know what kind of number you multiply by. So positive 2 times positive 3x is going to give me a 6x. And positive 2 times positive 6 gives me a positive 12 equals 21. So from here, add or subtract like we normally would. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. The reason why I picked 12 is because the 6 is attached to the x. So I'm going to do some subtraction here. I'm going to get 9. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 9. So I can reduce this fraction 9 over 6 here. I can divide each of these by 3. 3 over 2. So my final solution is x equals 3 halves. You could also say 1.5 or 1.5. Personally, I would keep it as an improper fraction. So when you go back and check your solution, it is honestly a lot easier to do it in improper form because of the rule when it comes to multiplying. So now let's look at problem number 2, where our constant is not an integer. In this case, it's a fraction. So 3/4 times 4. So 3/4, I'm going to write it up here, times 4. Now 4 is a whole number, so I can put that over 1. 3 times 4 gives me 12. 4 times 1 gives me 4. So this is going to reduce down to 3x. So I know the next thing is going to be a minus some term. So again, 3/4 times 8 over 1. And I'm going to ignore the negative that's right next to the x because I brought it down into my new equation right there. So back to right here. 3 times 8 is going to give me a 24. 4 times 1 is going to give me a 4. So this reduced down to 6 equals 30. Don't be afraid of fractions. Sometimes having those fractions can actually make your problem easier, like it is in this case. So continue as we normally would. I'm going to add 6 to both sides because it is my constant, and it will isolate that 3x term, which is what I want. And now all we have to do is to divide both sides by 3. And 36 divided by 3, x equals 12 is my final answer there. And let's try this last one over here. So I have 1/5 times 4x. So 1 over 5 times 4 over 1, because it's a whole number. This is just going to give me 4/5 x. And we'll multiply here. It's going to be positive. 1/5 times 9 over 1. That's going to give me 9/5 equals 2. So now we need to subtract that 9/5. I'm going to subtract that from both sides. And I'm going to be left with 4/5 x equals some number. Well, 2 can be written as 2 over 1, like stated previously, and I'm subtracting it from 9/5. So this is a simple subtraction problem when it comes to fractions. So you have to find your LCD. In this case, it's going to be 5. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom fraction here by 5. So I'm going to get 10 over 5 minus 9 over 5, and that becomes a lot easier of a problem, which is just 1/5. So now the last thing we have to do before we state our solution is multiply each side by its reciprocal. So the reason why we multiply each side by the reciprocal of the fraction is, if you can recall, keep, change, flip, when we divide with complex fractions, we are really skipping 2 of the steps and jumping right to the flip and multiplying out, which makes things 10 times easier and quicker. So on the left side here, I'm going to be left with just x equals. So right here, I can simplify that to just 1 and 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. So my solution is x equals 1/4. Never be afraid of fractions. Fractions are your friend. They can make these problems easier, and they can really make solution checking a lot easier if you keep it in that improper fraction form, so I highly recommend that. I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more, and leave a comment below if you have any questions for me. Make sure you share this video with a friend who you think could benefit from this tutorial. Thanks for watching.